Hello friends, welcome to Edifaxy. Uh, Today we will discuss about the literary sources. Yesterday we have seen in the previous lecture about the nature and sources of historical construction. We have seen about the material remains like temples, monasteries, how they have helped in exploring our history, the coins which our ancient uh, people have used, and also the inscriptions which they have been written and how they have deciphered to know about our history. Today we'll be knowing about the literary sources, right? Okay. Like although ancient Indians knew how to write as early as 2500 BC, but the ancient manuscripts which were found are not older than 4th century AD, right? Like people didn't find the manuscripts now which are older than 4th century AD, right? And in olden days people have written on birch bark, right, on birch bark and palm leaves. So on these things they have written, like everyone know. And even in some places they have written on sheep leather and wooden tablets. In many places, many things they have used for writing the sources. So we know about the Hindu religious culture. In Hindu religious culture we have Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata and the Puranas, and these play a crucial role in knowing about the social and cultural conditions of the ancient times, right? If we consider our Vedas, there are many Vedas. The first Veda, the ancient Veda, is known as the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda consists of the prayers, and the later Veda consists of the prayers, rituals and magics like tantras. These are called the tantras, right? And there are also Upanishads. Upanishads are the philosophical speculations. Please remember, Rig Veda consists of the prayers, the later Veda consists of the prayers, rituals and tantras, and Upanishad consists of the philosophical speculations, right? Fine. So these Vedas have been divided into Vedangas. Vedangas, Angas means parts. Like these are the very important parts. These are the supplements of the Vedas. They are the Siksha. Siksha means the phonetics, right? Then the kalpa means ritual. Then vyakarana means grammar. Nirukta means etymology. Then chanda means metrics. Then jyotishya means astronomy. These are all written in the form of percepts. Okay, percepts. Percepts are also known as sutras because of its brevity form. Brevity means very short form, right? Because of its short compilations they are called as sutras. The best example for this percepts is the grammar of Panani. One thing about the grammar of Panani, it not only includes Vyakarana, but this grammar of Panani also cast invaluable light on the society, economy and culture of his times. This grammar was written by the Panani. It casts it gives some important information about the society, economy and culture of its time. And also there are two epics. Now Vedas are over, then Ramayana and Mahabharata. These are the two epics. Mahabharata, initially it consists of 8800 verses, right? When Vedavyasa wrote, initially it was 8800 verses, and this is also known as Jaya. So this underwent evolution. So later it has increased to 24,000 verses, which is called as Bharata, and later it was increased to 1 lakh verses, which is called as Mahabharata or Sahasri Samhita. So this Mahabharata consists of narrative, descriptive and didactic material, right? The narrative material is nothing but it relates to the Kaurava and Pandava conflict, which may relate to later Vedic period. So this is the narrative part, and the descriptive part consists of the descriptive portion may be belong to the post-Vedic period, right? Which may relate to the post-Vedic period, and the didactic portion generally relate to the post-Maurya period, right? The didactic portion post-Maurya period, the descriptive portion is the post-Vedic period, and the Kaurava-Pandava conflict is the later Vedic period. Okay, fine. So we also have the Grihya Sutras. These Grihya Sutras help us to know about the domestic rituals of the ancient times. The domestic rituals include this birth, naming, marriage, death or anything, etc. Right? Then also the Sulla Sutras. Sulla Sutras are the beginning of the geometry and mathematics. They contain the information about the various kinds of measurements of construction, right? So this Sulla Sutras helps us to know the various kinds of measurements which they have used in the ancient times. There are also the religious books of the Buddhists. which gives us information. The religious books of the Buddhists are written in Pali language, and these are the canonical literature. Canonical literature help us to know the state affairs in the age of Buddha. Okay, these religious books of Buddhist help us to know the state affairs in the age of the Buddha, and there are also non-canonical literature. This tells us about the previous birth of Buddha. It is known that Lord Buddha, Gautam Buddha, who is the founder of Buddhism, he has taken around 550 births before becoming Buddha. This 550 births in the form of animals or plants in any other form. He have taken 550 births, and these have been written in the form of Jataka, a folk tale, right? So these Jatakas help us to know the social and economic conditions between the 5th and the 2nd century BC, right? Okay. The Jain texts are there. We also have the Jain literature, the Jain texts. These are written in Prakrit language. These help us to reconstruct the political history of the eastern UP and Bihar in the age of Mahavira. So these help us in the reconstruction of political history, right? Then we have the Dharma Shastras. The Dharma Shastras are nothing but the law books. Okay, these are the extensive law books, and these Dharma Shastras are the compilations of Dharma Sutras plus Smritis. They have become Dharma Shastras. These are the law books, and the Artha Shastra of Kautilya is also one more law book which has been written by Kautilya in those days. This book is divided. This Arthashastra of Kautilya is divided into 15 books. Right? This is also a form of law book which help us to know the rules, laws, and customs in the ancient days. So the grammar work of Panani, which we have already discussed, it is called as Ashtadhyaya. This Ashtadhyaya gives the info about the Janapadas. Janapadas are already we have discussed in the previous lecture. Janapadas are nothing but the territorial units, right? The geographical plus cultural integration are called as the Janapadas, or the territorial units of the pre-Mauryan times. So this grammar work of Panani also gives the info about the pre-Mauryan times. This Abhijnana Shakuntalam, which we have already discussed, it has been translated by Britishers into English. So this Abhijnana Shakuntalam is written by Kalidasa. It comprises of kavyas and dramas. Okay, this also helps us to know the ancient literature. Okay, then comes the Sangam literature. This Sangam literature, these are the Tamil texts. So the poets who wrote these Tamil texts are assembled in the colleges. These colleges are called as Sangams. Okay, hence comes the name as Sangam literature. The literature, there are 30,000 lines of poetry. 30,000 lines of poetry, and these are called Ettu Kottai. Ettu Tokkai. Ettu Tokkai means, sorry if I'm pronouncing anything wrong, since I'm not familiar with this. Ettu Tokkai, Ettu means, as per my knowledge, Ettu is number 8. 8 in Tamil is called as Ettu. So 8 anthologies. 8 anthologies are called as Ettu Tokkai, right? This is about the Sangam literature. So when these poems are collected in groups of 100, this is called as Purana Nanuru. Purana Nanuru. Okay, and this is again divided into two main groups. One is Pattinikil Kanakku. These are the 8 lower collections, and Pattu. These are the 10 songs. This belongs to Purana Nanuru. Okay. One more interesting fact about the Sangam texts, they are not the religious literature. Okay, please remember Sangam literature. This may be a possible question, like in true or false or something like that. Which is the correct option? They might ask. Is Sangam literature is a religious literature? Is wrong. Sangam literature is not a religious literature. They are the poems in praise of various heroes and heroines. Like in ancient days, the kings and the prince and princesses were praised, and these literatures refer to those praise of various heroes and heroines, and they are all obviously secular in nature, and they are the main source to know about the social, economic, and the political life of the people in deltaic Tamil Nadu, right? The Sangam texts help us to know the social, economic, and political life of the people of deltaic Tamil Nadu. Okay, so we have completed the literary sources which has helped to know the history. Now the foreign accounts. As we know, many foreigners came to our country, right? Like Greeks, Romans, and the Chinese visitors, travelers. Okay, these visitors and travelers, they have came, or they are or some religious converts also came. These people came of different reasons, but still whenever they come, they have left some accounts here. their writings or their pieces, which help us to know the history, right? So the irony is that there are no Indian resources on Alexander invasion. So we cannot find any Indian resources on Alexander's invasion, and only the Greek resources help us to know about the Alexander's invasion, right? The Greek writers also mention the Sandrokotas. Sandrokotas, a contemporary of Alexander the Great. Sandrokotas was mentioned as a contemporary of Alexander the Great, and his account in Greeks it has been given, and in relation to the Indian text, he has been the Chandragupta Maurya, whose accession was fixed at 322 BC, right? So these Greek writers who mention the Sandrokotas has been identified as Chandragupta Maurya, whose date is fixed at 322 BC, and these Greeks fixed the date as 326 BC. So with the help of the Greek account, we have confirmed the existence of Chandragupta Maurya. So then also the Indica of Megasthenes, who came to the court of Chandragupta Maurya, he has written the Indica. He is the Megasthenes. The book name is Indica, and this account gives the info about the Maurya administration, social class, and the economic activities. Okay, right? Then also the Periplus of Erythraean Sea and Ptolemy's Geography. These two books, Periplus of Erythraean Sea and the Ptolemy's Geography, these two books give the data for the study of ancient geography and commerce. These two gives the data for the study of ancient geography and commerce. Then also the Pliny's Natural Historia, which is written in Latin. This helps us to know about the trade between the India and Italy. And also Cosmos Indicoplousus, he's a Greek Roman scholar. He wrote a book called Christian Topography. This Christian Topography helps us to know about the Christians in India and Sri Lanka, and also the it also refers to the horse trade, right? Cosmos Indicoplousus, please remember the names. Okay, then there are also Chinese travelers who their names are the Fa Hsin and Huan Sang. This Fa Hsin, his writings help us to know about the social, religious, and economic conditions of the Gupta age, right? His writings help us to know about the social, religious, and economic conditions of Gupta age. And Huan Sang, his writings help us to know about the social, religious, and economic conditions of the Harsha age. Okay, Huan Sang, Harsha, Fa Hsin, Gupta. Okay, these Chinese travelers came to visit the Buddhist shrines in India. Okay, when they came to visit, they have they have given various works. Okay, then the next resource is the village study. The present village study, the communal sharing in fairs, festivals, and the pujas, which we do now. These help us to know about the ancient tribal society. Like anything which comes from the past exists in the present, right? So how and also the loyalty to the caste and clan, survival of rituals even till to date. This give the idea of the ancient sections which were existed. The rural rituals and the caste prejudices also know, and the Dharma Shastra rules, they also gives the idea of the idea of our governing and our ancient polity, and also help us to know our history, and also the concept of manual labor, untouchability, social inequalities, which were there till today or till the post-independence time. So this also help us to know about the ancient history. This is also one of the resource. Okay, then also the natural sciences. Natural sciences, nothing but evidence from chemistry, biology, and geology. The evidences which are present also help us to know the ancient history, and also historic sense. Okay, this historic sense, the ancient Indians, they were known like the lack of the sense of history, and also the 18 Puranas which were already there. So these 18 Puranas were divided into 4 ages: Kritya, Tritiya, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. These also give about the account of the ancient history. Anyway, this historical sense will be continuing in the next lecture. So we'll be discussing about the historical sense in the next lecture. Till natural sciences we have completed, like how our archaeologist has utilized these resources to extract the history of our country. So about the historical sense and the geographical setting, and then the following things will be following up in the next lecture. Please do spread the word. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.